What is up, you guys? This is All Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you another Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet video. So this is going to be a top 5 hardest boss list. So keep in mind that I am level 150, and I also am pretty well geared, so that watching these clips may seem like these bosses are not that hard. But when you first encounter these bosses and you're not that well geared, you're going to probably end up dying a few times. Maybe not, but that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions or suggestions, let me know down in the comment section. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. If you have any other bosses that you think that are pretty tough, let me know down in the comment section as well. So this is All Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and enjoy the rest of the clip. So for number 5, we have the Manhunter. So the Manhunter is located at the Forgotten Woods in the Forest Edge, which is located midway on the right side of the map. You'll end up having to face him when you are doing your main quest or main storyline. So the first time I had ever encountered this boss was obviously during the story mode, and this was definitely one of the toughest bosses I've ever had to actually encounter, mainly because he is a melee enemy and he will stay on top of you pretty much the whole time unless you are able to stagger him or do some type of CC against him. But most of the time you're going to keep yourself from a good distance from him, or you're going to end up having to keep running away with this type of boss. So the things that this boss can do is he has claw strikes, which I think is about 3 strikes that he does, and those strikes will do a lot of damage to you, especially the third one. The third one will either stagger you or knock you down. The weak spots for this boss is his horns, so if you're planning on using a sniper, hopefully you have very good accuracy, because those horns are not very big weak spots, but if you can hit it, you can stagger him pretty easily. This boss can also shoot fireballs from his mouth, which can also deal damage over time. Also, when this boss reaches a certain amount of health, he will call in for help, and that means he's going to call in 1 or 2 more delinquents, which are miniature versions of him. And this boss can also drop masks if you're looking for a mask accessory, or just for the style or whatnot. That's what he drops. So for number 4, we have Mjolnir. Mjolnir can be found in the Old South, north of the Subway B. So it's just more up north of the map. You'll eventually end up going to Subway B for one of your main quests. Just make sure you go up north and then you'll see him. Also, you do have to fight Mjolnir for one of your main quest lines in order to get one of the key cards. So he's going to be a very tough boss to fight, mainly because he's in the air. He can fly, he can shoot lasers, he can shoot out rockets. His weak spot is also on his head, and it's not necessarily an easy spot to hit. I mean, you can try to snipe him as well. Like I said, you would probably need a decent aim for your sniper, or you can use an AR or whatever it is you'd like to use. It's not that the boss is incredibly hard to kill. It's just that sometimes it's going to be hard to target him due to the fact that he flies right above your head sometimes. He'll literally fly right over you to the point to where you can't even aim at him. So the boss, with this boss, he can also swoop down and do like a slash with his sword on his hand, and that's pretty much it. The other thing is this boss also drops an AR, an assault rifle called MG Mutnovsky, which is one of the weapons that I'm using in this clip. So for number 3, we have the Concealed Genbu. So the Concealed Genbu is located at Remnant Wasteland in the Sea Watchtower after you've already completed New Game and you've unlocked Extreme Difficulty, which obviously that's the only way you can unlock Extreme Difficulty is if you completed the New Game. So this boss can drop a sniper rifle called Deathwind, which is by far one of the best snipers in the game because it's strong and it's not that heavy, and it also doesn't require too much strength either. So the reason why this is one of the hardest bosses in the game is because the damage that this boss can do when he charges at you can result into being a one-shot. Unless you have a decent amount of vitality. If you have maybe like, let's say 100 vitality, you'll still have about a quarter of health left or so. If you have a lot of vitality, then you can probably just eat that one shot like it's nothing, or eat that charge. Now, not only does this boss have a charging ability, but he also has a snake on his tail, and this snake will pretty much shoot out lasers, and it'll circle the boss around, and sometimes it'll just aim at someone. So you gotta make sure you watch out for that. And then another thing is the weak spot on this boss is the gem on his forehead. The gem on his forehead is kind of hard to hit as well, due to the fact that this boss will move his head around a lot, and then the parts around the gem is armor. So if you hit the armor, you're going to do very, very, very little damage to him. You can hit the armor on his legs though, and that'll eventually break the armor off his legs to where you can just shoot his legs. You can also shoot his eyes, which is not a weak spot, or it is a weak spot, but it's not a very strong weak spot. So number 2, we have the Abyss Guide. This boss can be found in the Forgotten Forest at the top left of the map. So just like how the Manhunter is, this boss is pretty much a smaller version of the Manhunter, but he is much, much, much more aggressive than him. And he also deals a lot more damage as well. This boss has all the same abilities as the Manhunter does, but instead of summoning delinquents, he instead summons hooligans. This boss will also consistently keep charging, which can be dodged if it's timed right, or avoided with special abilities, but the dashes that this boss does, or the charging he does, is very, very consistent. He will, as soon as he finishes dodging or dashing, he's going to dash again, and probably keep dashing maybe 3 or 4 more times. And then the fireball he shoots out is just like the Manhunters. So this boss will also drop an AR called the Alpha Bell. So the last boss on this list, which is going to be the strongest and toughest boss, is the Honeycomb Maker. This boss can be found in Solitary Sands, north of the underground weapons plant. This is by far one of the toughest bosses in the game, like I had already mentioned. This boss is pretty much like Mjolnir in a way, but much more aggressive and deals a lot more damage. Most of the time it's just one-shots over one-shots. So this boss has a targeting laser attack, which he will target one person of the group, and that will more than likely be an unavoidable one-shot. Unless you have something like a shield matrix, then you can prevent that death from happening. Or if you have an accessory that gives you like a 30% avoiding death or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it though. This boss's weak spot as well is at its forehead. You can shoot at its back to break its wings, but it'll just end up flying back up eventually. This boss also drops wings for accessories if you're looking for wings.